All right, welcome. Today we're going to look past the headlines, past the profits and losses, and get to the heart of what makes a business really healthy. Think of it like a full physical for a company, and you're about to learn how to read the chart. Let's dive in.
It sounds crazy, doesn't it? A company that's making money but fails? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. It happens. A company can look great on paper, showing a nice profit, but completely run out of the actual cash it needs to pay its bills. And that's the puzzle we're solving today. Why profit doesn't tell you the whole story.
So how do we get the real story? Well, that's where these come in. Activity ratios. I want you to think of these like the tools a doctor pulls out during a checkup. They're the diagnostic tests that go beyond the surface to measure a company's true operational fitness. Its speed, its efficiency, its financial metabolism.
All right, so let's start this business checkup. And the first place we're going to look is how a company manages its physical stuff, all those products sitting in warehouses and on store shelves. This is all about inventory health.
Okay, so here are our first two diagnostic tools. And listen, don't get hung up on the formulas you see here. Seriously, what's really important, the main thing to grasp, is that they both measure how fast a company is selling the stuff it has in stock. That's it.
Let's just break down that first metric, inventory turnover, into a super simple question. It's really just asking this: how many times, in 1 year, does this company completely sell out its entire warehouse and have to restock from scratch? Is it once, twice, 10 times? That number tells us a whole lot.
And this right here really lays it all out. A high turnover is a fantastic sign. It's like having good circulation. Products are flying off the shelves, cash is flowing, and everything is fresh. But a low turnover? That's a huge warning sign. It's like clogged arteries. Sales are sluggish, cash is trapped in products that are just sitting there, and you're running the risk of that inventory becoming worthless.
Okay, let's flip this around and look at it from another angle with our second tool. This one, days of inventory on hand, tells you how many days, on average, a single item sits around before someone buys it. So a number like 120 days, think about that. Your product is sitting on a shelf for 4 months. That's 4 months where you're paying for storage, paying for insurance, all while that product could be going out of style, and you haven't made a single cent from it yet.
Okay, so let's say the company's stuff is moving pretty well. Great, but what about the cash? A healthy company needs lightning-fast financial reflexes. So now we're going to check how quickly it collects its money, and just as important, how smartly it pays its own bills.
For this part of the exam, we've got a new set of tools. And again, don't worry about the math. All you need to know is that this group of ratios measures the speed of money moving in two directions: the cash coming in from customers and the cash going out to suppliers.
All right, let's test that first reflex. So when a company makes a sale but lets the customer pay later, it doesn't have cash. It has an accounts receivable, basically an IOU. These first two ratios measure how fast the company is at turning those IOUs into actual spendable cash in the bank.
Just think about this for a second. A high number here can mean the company is waiting 90 days, that's a full quarter of a year, to get paid for a service it already delivered. That is a massive cash gap. In those 3 months, it still has to pay its employees, pay the rent, and pay for its own supplies. You can see how a company, even one that looks profitable, could literally run out of money here. It's a huge trap.
Now, for the other side of the coin, the second reflex. This is all about managing the money going out. How long does the company take to pay its own bills? These ratios tell us how well a company manages its payment schedule with its suppliers.
And this is where it all comes together in this incredible cash flow balancing act. The goal is simple, but powerful. Collect your money from customers as fast as humanly possible, and pay your own bills as slowly as you responsibly can, but, and this is key, without ever being late. If you master this, you keep more cash in your hands for longer. It's the ultimate sign of an agile company. All right, deep breath. We've checked the inventory, we've tested the cash reflexes. Now it's time for the final part of our physical, the overall fitness score. This is where we see how efficiently a company uses everything it owns, from its cash to its buildings to actually generate sales.
So here's the ultimate question we're asking in this final section. For every single dollar a company has invested in, well, anything, a laptop, a delivery truck, a factory, how much revenue is that dollar generating in return? Are those assets working hard, or are they just sitting around?
First up, we've got working capital turnover. Think of working capital as the money a business uses for its daily grind. This ratio is basically a measure of its day-to-day fuel efficiency. How much sales mileage is it getting from every dollar it uses to keep the lights on?
Okay, next up, fixed asset turnover. Now we're talking about the big stuff, the long-term investments like buildings, machinery, all the heavy-duty equipment. This ratio tells us how much bang the company is getting for its buck on those major purchases. You know, is that shiny, expensive new factory actually churning out sales, or is it just a really big paperweight?
And that brings us to the big one, the grand finale of our checkup, total asset turnover. This one rolls everything together, the daily cash, the big machinery, all of it, to give us one single comprehensive score. This is the one that brings it all home. It answers that ultimate question. For every dollar the company owns, period, how many dollars in sales does it create?
You know, I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Profit can be played with through accounting, it can be subjective, but cash in the bank, that's a hard fact. And these activity ratios we've been talking about, they tell you the speed of that fact. They tell you if that cash is moving fast and working hard, or if it's slow and lazy.
So let's just boil this all down. What are the big takeaways here? First, activity ratios are a critical health checkup. Second, they measure speed and efficiency, which are totally different from profit. Third, they give you the inside story on how a company manages its inventory, its cash, and its assets. And the big lesson? A truly healthy company isn't just profitable, it's fast, it's efficient.
So there you have it. You now have the diagnostic tools. You know how to look past the headlines and check a company's real vital signs. The only question left is, which company are you going to put on the exam table first?